All right, on the modules page, very last thing before we get to the internet introduction to limits is the Parametric Doodling project. I'll go to that page here. You're asked here to, I'm going to give you 12 graphs. You need to find parametric equations for 6 of those. All right, the link that has all the instructions and stuff is here. I want to point out that I think initially I said this is a group project. I'm going to not make it a group project. I think better is to make it individual. You're certainly allowed to talk to each other, use maybe the homework discussion forum to talk about this a little bit if you want. You're certainly welcome to ask me questions as well. I'm glad to help to get people going on this. So every person though has to submit their own report. Okay. So here's what it looks like. We've got some description here to start with to kind of help you get through to see what we're doing. We're take a graph like this. You want to come up with parametric equations. The way we're going to do that is to split it into 2 graphs. Pay attention just to what the x-coordinate is doing, and then pay attention to what the y-coordinate is doing. So on this one, for instance, it looks like at time 0, I'm going to start with the point at the origin, and I'm going to fly this way. So paying attention to just the x-coordinate. I see the x-coordinate starts at 0, goes up to 1, comes down to 0, goes to -1, comes back to 0. So this is what the x-coordinate is doing. Apparently I have my axes labeled wrong. This should be x versus t. That's what it says underneath. X is a function of t. So the x starts at 0, goes up to 1, 0, -1, 0. At the same time as the x is doing that, the y-coordinate starts at 0, goes up to 1, comes down to 0, goes down to -1, goes to 0, goes to 1, goes to 0, goes to -1, goes to 0. It goes up and down 2 times, where x only goes up and down 1 time. I look at that and I say, boy, can I come up with equations for those 2 graphs? Yeah, I can. That looks like a sine function, x equals sine t, and this one looks like, well, I got 2 cycles, so let's do a sine of 2t. It turns out that these are, in fact, parametric equations for that graph. Okay. Here's one that's a little more complicated, and it, text talks you through it here. What I'm going to give you here is 12 graphs. You're going to have to do 6 of them. Pick any 6 you want. You may try several. You may find some are easy. You may find some are not, and each of you may find different ones to be easy or different ones to be hard. For each of the graphs, I want 5 things. I want you to show a graph of x versus t, what you think it looks like. I want you to show a graph of y versus t, what you think it looks like. I want you to show an equation for the x function, and I need to show you an equation. I want you to show me an equation for the y. Then make a statement of how well you think your graph fits. Sometimes you're going to say, I think this looks perfect. We nailed it dead on. Sometimes you're going to say, well, it's pretty close, but there's this aspect of it here where this loop seems to go in the wrong direction, or this loop is a little big. Anyway, you're not necessarily going to get them perfect, but tell me about what you did and how well you think it fits. Okay. To look at the graphs, there's 3 different ways. One is, depending on the viewer you're in, this gray box down here may show up with the graphs in it. My browser is not currently supporting the LiveMath plugin, so it's not showing it. Okay. This link right here will give you all the 12 curves just in one shot. So here I'm going to go to this, and I can see here's a page that's got the 12 different graphs that you can pick and choose from. Do 6 of them. Find parametric equations for 6 of them. The blue dots really are meaningless. Some of them look like they might be in a good spot to start. Others, I don't know that that's the case. This one is, I don't know why that blue dot is there. Anyway, there's the 12 graphs in one spot. The link was, what am I doing? I want to go back. The link was right there. Also, if you have LiveMath Viewer, you can download it from livemath.com. It's free. Click here, and it'll download this thing into LiveMath. It might say LiveMath Viewer. I happen to have the LiveMath Maker as well, and that's what it's trying to open it in. It should say, hey, I want to open this in LiveMath Viewer, and you say, okay, open it, and then it downloads it and opens it, and it's really big. Let me make it smaller. Come on now, get smaller. So you can see it, right? Okay, so, and what you see here is each of the curves with some tools to help you do this. You can do this on your calculator. You don't need these tools, but if you have either the Live Math viewer or the Live Math plugin, then you can see this that gray box on the previous page. In fact, you can see a little bit of the gray box right there. It should have looked like this if the plugin was working. What I can do here is in each of these, I can type in what I think the parametric equations are. For instance, I think x is equal to sine t, and it'll draw the graph of that over here. I think y is equal to cosine t. Notice that you get this red box as you're typing, because Live Math is trying to interpret what you're typing, and you get the C typed in. It says, hey, I don't know what C is. And you say, oh, just keep typing. When you're done, click on the graph, and it does it just fine. Notice this is set up so that you can change some things. This is from x equals minus, it's showing -1 to +1. If I want to change any of that, I can change these numbers, and it shows you different amounts of stuff. So, maybe you needed a bigger amplitude here. Maybe you think this is 7 or whatever, and you can't see the graph down here very well. So, okay, just view it from -7 to +7, and then you can see what it looks like. Okay, this graph over here. I don't know what's happening here. Hang on a minute here. No, don't do it. Well, let's try this again. Okay, open it up. See, I have Live Math Maker. This is what this costs money. I actually have to pay for it, but this is what I use to make these files. So let's try this again. Sine t, cosine t. So this shows the graph of x versus t, this shows the graph of y versus t. This should show the parametric graph. Now there's two things that happen here. One is in red is the graph of the functions that I typed in here. So clearly this is not correct. It would be correct if I got the red to line right up on top of the black. Okay. The other thing is that this, as I click on it, it's animated, and you can see this little blue dot moving around. Several things that you can do with this blue dot. First of all, you can increase the number of frames to slow it down. You can also change the number of frames per second. There's several things going on here. You can see how I've parameterized it and in what direction I'm rotating around this curve. The other thing is there's a number up here, two numbers. This is the frame number. This is the actual value of the parameter that's being used for each of those points. So you can see the parameter value, the t value, and you can look at the graph to see x and y values. That may help you in trying to figure out what these graphs look like. Generally, I don't need these graphs too accurate, but sometimes you may need to be a little more accurate. So each one of these graphs, there's problem number 1, you scroll down, here's number 2. Each one of these is here, and you can play with it and see if you can get the red graph that you create by typing something in. Sine of t, sine of 2t, and you say, what is that doing? That's weird. It's still animating this one up here. Stop animating that. Ah, there we go. This looks a little better. All right, there's my there's my graph. Yeah. All right. So you got to come up with parametric equations. Use these tools if you can. If you want to, you can just do it on your calculator. I don't think you actually need these. I think it's nice to have them. Nice to be able to really compare the graph that I have and the graph that you have. Anyway, this is due on Friday. Let me pull up this is the page. Yes, this is due on actually Sunday. Where is it due? There it is, March 23. All right, so I pushed it back a few days from when I originally had it. Um, it's kind of fun. It may seem a little challenging at first, but I think once you figure it out, it's not too bad. One of the examples that I gave in one of my previous videos is probably a good one to work from, the last example. Anyway, good luck. Ask your questions if you got them.